Nkwaniriza nnyo gwe mukwano gwange atulaba ku AITV akawungezi ka leero.
Can you let Patricia in? Darling.
Eyogera ku nsonga za okutambuza mu maaso obulwanyi n'okulwana olw'okununula eggwanga lyaffe Uganda. Mu studios omutesitesi omwagizi wa programu eno ndi Dorothy Stewart nga nze nteredde okutuusaako akawungezi kalo show eyammwe eno, era nga olwaleero tugenda kulaba omulimu gw'omukyala mu struggle, the role of women in this struggle. Struggle kyeki pozi onoogamba struggle kyekigambo kati ekikutte ennyo ensangi zino, naye nga bwe tukitegeera bannayuganda nti tulina omulimu munene ogw'okwerwanako okutwala eggwanga lyaffe mu maaso oba okuzza eggwanga lyaffe ku musingi ogwo gwennyini ogwandisaanidde mu kyasa ekye2020 okuva eri gye gwawabira emyaka 35 emabega egiyise bwe eggwanga lyaffe bwe lyawambibwa abagwira abajja mu kuyiwa omusaayi ne basaanyaawo abantu baffe bangi nnyo eruweero bimanyi musiko gye baalwanira ne bajja nga tulowooza nti bazze okutunula, naye okuva olwo ebigenze bikolebwa bigenda mu maaso biraga nti tebajja kulwanirira gwe munnayuganda, abajja kwerwanirira bo ng'abantu n'okwenunula mu mpozi mu mbeera ze baalimu. Kulaba kati we batuuse kino kirabikira mu mbeera gye batwaddemu eggwanga lyaffe emabega ennyo ennyo nti n'amawanga agatuli gwe twali mu maaso ennyo 35 years ago olwaleero ate go gatuyiseeko mirundi nga 10 n'okusingawo. Mpozi tugenda kutunulira gwe omukyala, tumanyi nti maama, omukyala gwe maama, omukyala gwe nnakazadde w'eggwanga, omukyala gwe musomesa asookerwako, era omukyala bw'oba toliiwo omwana ebyokuyiga bibeera bitono. Abakyala ffe tuzaala abaana abo abakula abafuuka abakulembeze, ate ffe tuzaala abaana abo abavuddeyo okwerwanako nga balaba eggwanga lyabwe gye ligenda si yo gyandibadde, ate era ffe tuzaala abaana abo abatulugunyizibwa mu mbeera yonna gye bayisibwamu, obukulembeze obusosoze obwennakyemalira obuli mu ggwanga lyaffe Uganda. Kale gwe omukyala munnange, gwe ozanye paati otya okulaba nti okyusa embeera y'obulamu bwo, okyusa eggwanga lyaffe ate nga teweenyooma. Twagamba ng'edda omukyala tubeera simanyi twava emmanju simanyi twabeeranga waka kulabirira baami na kuzaala baana nakwera lujja, naye kati olwaleero ebintu byakyuka. Abakyala tuli basaale nnyo nnyo mu bigambo by'okutambuza n'okukuza eggwanga yonna mu nsi yonna okwetooloola, naye nga ffe abakyala naffe bangi bavuddeyo bwe balabye nti eggwanga lyaffe gye ligenda si weyo gye lyandibadde liteekwa okugenda. Emiti gyaffe emitwe gitemeddwako ettaka, fyuca y'eggwanga erinnyiriddwa, era nga tulina obweraliikirivu nti bwe bintu bwe binaagenda bwe biti emyaka 20 oba 30 emirala egijja, eggwanga Uganda liyinza okusaanawo ne lisigala mu bitabo na byafaayo ne litwalibwa abantu abagwira abaali batasaanidde. Naye olwaleero bye tuza okwogera ku mukwano gwange nga nja kubeera n'abakyala nga tukubaganya ebirowoozo akawungezi kwa leero. Gwe omukyala ali eyo, what is your role in fostering the struggle for the emancipation of our country, for the revolution, olutalo olw'okulwanirira n'okuzza eggwanga lyaffe ku mutindo? Gwe olwenyigiramu nti emirimu gyo gyegiriwo era obuvunaanyizibwa bwe buliwa, kutuula butuuze eyo, kukaaba bukaabi oba kusaba busabi oba kugamba nti nze ninda mwami wano. Nina nno abagenyi bange betugenda okubaganya nabo ebirowoozo nga njagala nyanjule abakyala. Nina omukyala Lydia Natoro, omukyala ono nga ye Vice President w'ekibiina ekigatta bannayuganda mu America, North America and Canada kituyita UNA, Uganda North American Association. Ekibiina kino ye omukyala oyo ajja kukyogerera, abasinga mukimanyi, abasinga muli members, abasinga mwakiddukamu, abalala mukyakigendamu, naye Lydia ajja kubatubulira. Nnyabo Lydia, nsanyusa okukulaba akawungezi ka leero.
Kale maama, nange nsanyusa nnyo okulaba, kansuubire ompulira bulungi.
Nkuwulira bulungi nnyo, obuuza kubatuuliza era obeeyanjulire.
Ye nnyabo, weebale nnyo maama wange, mukyala Comrade Dorothy Stewart. Nze Lydia Natolo, nsinga wano in Irvine, California. Era nga our moderator, our host babagambye, nze Vice President w'ekitongole kyaffe ekya Uganda North America Association. Kino ekitongole kye kitugatta kiba kitugatta ebisanja more than 30 years in existence. Era nkyenyumirizaamu nnyo era nebaza Mukama nti ndi vice president w'ekitongole kino ekibiina kyaffe ekigatta ffenna bannayuganda babeera wano in the US ne Canada. Naye ensonga lwaki enkozesa ebintu byenkola era nali nkola nze okubeera nti navaayo mu buvumu si kyangu nnyo okubeera nti gwe oyogera ku bintu ebikyamu mu gavumenti yammwe awaka tekitandise leero ekyatandika mwaka guwedde ekyatandika nga I'm running for vice president naye wano mbaddewo for a while emyaka 15 era Mama Stuart amanyi olugendo lwange so nsensenya okubeera wano era tulina bingi nyo tugenda okwogera again Lydia Natolo wano vice president wamwe
tweyanzeege oyo omu ku bakyala abagenda kubaganya ebirowoozo wano kuki omukyala kyalina okukola okutwala struggle mu maaso okulaba nti Uganda yeenunula pozi nako omukyala omulala abagyali Mama Patricia gyali
actually so called Mama Aisha Nakijoba ne Patricia is in the waiting room. If you can ask somebody in the studio to let her in, please.
Can you let Patricia in? Kale nina omukyala Aisha Nakijoba nno omukyala yali munnabyabufuzi okuviira ddala e Uganda amumanyidde okumala ebbanga nga ye yagiddukanyizira mu Central ng'ate nze ndi Makindye East naye nga tuli mu kibiina kimu ng'era tulwana struggle okulaba nti twenunula up to now akyayimiridde. Mama nsanyusa okulaba Aisha. Mpa Aisha taliiko.
Kwali, I can see her.
Aisha taliiko. Aisha kwali mumpe taliiko. Ajja kujja ndowooza engineer wange kino byuma bikyakutawanyaamu mpa mukyala Aisha Nakijoba kansala kwali naye nga oyo akyajja abakyala bonna abali mu waiting room bayingize. Kale katugende mu maaso nga tukyalinda abakyala ninda omukyala Aisha Nakijoba bajja kumumpa wano oyo kansala ate nga yatwala NUP People Power California chapter California esaze eryo ddene nnyo era tulinamu obwesiga wano mu diaspora nekulaba nti tutwalibwa omukyalo oyo w'amaanyi ate era ng'akoledde struggle ebintu bingi nnyo ddala ate tulina omukyala Patricia Namyalo no nga naye bwana batuuse anja kuba mwanjula ajja kubanga yeeyogerako nga nze mwennyini kamwa kwogera atedde mu studio Dorothy Stewart gemanya mugamanyi ate era nga nze ntwala NUP Greater Boston chapter musaza lino erya Massachusetts ffenna tuli bakyala abakulembeze wano mu North America. Tugenda kwogera ku ki kye tukoledde oba ki kye tusobola okukola gwe ng'omukyala ddala okulaba nti eggwanga lyaffe lyenunula ki ky'olina okukola. What is your role as a woman? Tolina kubeera mukulembeze, tolina kubeera mu kifo kyonna, just have to be a woman. Ate tolina kubeera nti olina biological son atugumbuddwa oba atiddwa oba yeesimbyewo. You just have to be a woman and a mother. Tolina ne bw'obanga ddala tolina biological child, you are a mother by the virtue of your creation. Tinga omukyala gw'oli nakazadde w'eggwanga. Abakyala nga bwe nagambye mu kusooka tuli basaale mu kusomesa okuyigiriza tunacha abaana baffe okuviira ddala mu buto kubalaga amakubo amatuufu okubasomesa okulaba nti bafuuka abatuuze ab'obuvunaanyizibwa nga bakuze ate basobole okutwala ensi eno mu maaso. Naye olwaliro bwe tulaba nga abaana baffe batugumbulwa ng'abaana baffe batulugunyizibwa ng'abaana baffe bali mu makomera nga tebalina musango naye nga bali eyo nga babonyaabonyezebwa bangi bavaayo nga battiddwa emirambo mugirabye nga bagikanyoga ku luguudo abakyala bwe tubeeraawo ne tutuula butuuzi ne tusirika oba ne tukaabira mu kisenge kibeera tekirina kyekigasa ggwanga era kibeera tekizabuza mabega ggwanga lyaffe. Gwe munanga ali eyo ki ky'olina okukola olaba naawe ng'omukyala nga weenyigirawo mukama waffe Kyagulanyi Ssentamu yavaayo n'alwana olutalo n'aluggusa era gye buvuddeko n'agaba nayinza ogwange ngukoze ekisigadde ensonga nzireese mu kkooti y'abantu abantu yeggwe nange n'omuvubuka n'omukadde n'omwami n'omukyala tusazeewo ki omusango n'embeera eno yonna olutalo luno nga Kyagulanyi tawula agitusuteerekedde mu maaso tibanaye tulwanye enzije gyenkijje kikino kiri yeri gye muli mmwe abantu okulaba nti muggusa ensonga yammwe ey'okwonunula ng'omukyala gw'ositudde otya awo Kyagulanyi we yakiteeka naawe ositulukituke odduke nakyo manyi bulungi nnyo nti you have been very big contributors abakyala naddala njagala okusookera ddala okubeebaza kimubadde nnyo basaale mu contributinga ku lutalo luno olw'okwenunula mu bigambo nga mulwana mu nsawo zammwe naddala abakyala bali mu diaspora abakyala by the way bakoze kinene nnyo okuraisinga ssente okulaba nti tutambuza struggle eno mwebale nnyo mwebalire ddala awo tubakubirako mu ngalo era temutudde temulutumidde mwana naye omulimu tegunnaggwa the struggle continues. What is your role from now? Lydia, come in. What is the role? What are we supposed to do as women?
Thank you so much, Madam Stewart. I'm trying to coordinate.
Batuuka ombuulira ani atuuse kubanga
Patricia is trying to get in. Naye
Aisha ate taliiwo.
Aisha kwali. Mama Aisha, are you there? Katulabe, I can see her here. Ndaba she's connected. Naye I'm sure kirabika
engineer Aisha nga tonnaba kumumpa.
Connection
endoze ekyagaanye.
Yeah, era bagambe to watch out for Patricia. Patricia is coming in. She's going to be a great addition to our conversation. Do we have a password to this link? Means there's another Mama Stewart, if you can send me sorry.
Wanji?
If you can send another link or Patricia kuyingira kubanga link eri emganye.
Link eganye. Can you create another link?
If you can send it to me, I'll send it to her.
Okay.
But while we're waiting for that, Patricia will be a great addition to our conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you so much everyone joining us.
Yeah, Mama Aisha, unmute yourself also okulabika ku video je kubanga tumulaba kwali naye situmanyi lwaki tayingirako.
Yes.
Okay, yes. Again, as engineer creating another link so we can send it to Patricia. Okay, go ahead, Lydia.
Send it to me and then I'll send it to her. So thank you so much. Why are women so important? Rachara tubetaaga nnyo mu struggle eno. We're talking about struggle. Abantu abamu balowooza you're just being one-sided, you're just wearing the red color. Naye ndabira ddala nti buli munnayuganda kimukakatako, especially bamaama ku bintu ebigenda mu maaso eka. Embeera eri eka ekwasa ennyiike, embeera eri eka ekwasa ennaku. Okulaba abaana b'abantu engeri gy'abatulugunya, okulaba abaana b'abantu babadde mu kkomera for more than now 3 months. Okulaba abaana b'abantu nti babatwala mu martial court of law. Kyokka ng'omusango gwe bazza kubeera nga balina omuntu gwe baagala okubeera pulezidenti waabwe. Abantu babasuula mu nsiko nga bali babasedda. Okulaba obulamu bw'omuntu e Uganda kati bukaabya amaziga.
Like life tekyamatalinga abaana everybody can be killed anytime. Like life is not as precious as it used to be.
They've taken somebody's daughter, somebody's son, somebody's husband, somebody's wife as worthless. Just because you're affiliated with another leader. Just because Ogambye banange. And it's okay to believe in change. Simanyi lwaki ensi zaffe mu Africa we're the only countries abalowooza mbu change is taboo. Change is not supposed to be taboo. Kati omwana bw'omuntu aba asazeewo nga ye alina omuntu gw'akkiririzaamu. Give them an opportunity to have a voice. naye tulaba ensi yaffe ekigenda mu maaso mu Uganda again kikaabya omwana w'omuntu bamuleke naye abeere n'eddoboozi lye tulaba omwana wa comrade waffe Nyanzi omwana omuto 15 years old. Mama, we need to talk about this family, by the way.
Yeah.
We need to talk about this young man. Nze kindowooza he's actually maybe the youngest. Bakatwala 15 years old. Mwana muto. Era kyova olaba ffenna abakyala.
Creating another link.
Thank you so much. Patricia is here. So good to see you, comrade. Era kyova olaba abakyala kitukakatako to raise up. Because Mukama ayina ekintu kye yatuwa, we are the birth of life in this world.
Yeah.
Lydia Mukama tanaba kumpa kisa ekyo, but I know one day it will. Naye nina mama.
Yeah. And you're a mother. Once you're a woman, you're a mother.
Yes, mom.
So you're not we are biological mother. We are mothers by birth.
100%. Nina emirimu mingi nnyo gye nkoze, nina abaana bangi nnyo.
As a mother, exactly.
Yeah. Nina abaana bangi nnyo, nina eddwaliro liri ekkumi. I've literally held so many babies in my hands. Buli wenzirayo e Uganda. I've witnessed nendaba maama ng'azaalira ku ttaka. Nga nnaasi ali omu ne mmuyambako. I've witnessed what it means to bring life into this world. Mbaddewo olw'abaganda bange. Nze nsembayo obuto in my family. So, okulaba ki ekigenda mu maaso eka, okulaba abaana b'abantu, to them, life of somebody else is useless. So they take it out. Ne batwala omwana obulamu bw'omuntu just like that.
Just like that.
Ne basiba abaana kati nasomye badde nkola research. Amakomera ge basibamu abantu baffe. Baina outspread ya tuberculosis right now. Baina outspread ya diarrhea right now because sanitation is not good.
Yeah.
Abaana abapakidde mu makomera. Omuntu abadde alina ennyumba ye. Omuntu abadde alina omulimu gwe. Abamu they torture them. Ne babamala ne basuula ku nguudo. Abaana b'abantu babba
And by the way, what puzzles me, bwe muntu okwata abantu bano nti kubanga yabakwata nti mugezaako okwetanga mu spreadinga COVID-19, okay? Kubanga social distancing kuba temuteekwa kuŋŋaana. Naye n'oyola thousands and thousands of human beings n'obapakira mu karumu kamu bwe bati without mask, without anything, tewalina mpewo, abantu ne bafa ekiziyiro, naye ng'ate ogamba nti olwanyisa COVID-19. And this is a man and the government efunye billions of shillings okulwanyisa akalwadde ako. Naye ate bw'abanga yennyini yakatandikwa spreadinga. Simanyi mateeka ki g'agoberera ng'agamba abantu tebagagoberedde kabasibe, ate yennyini n'ayongera ddala okugamenya obubi ennyo. So mu mbeera eyo bamaama tulina ennaku tulina amaziga, naye wakati nga tukaaba amaziga, what can we do? What can we do? Poze essaawa zino kanyanirize omukyala ongambe Patricia kwali aze.
Patricia Namyalo is here, yes.
Yeah, Patricia Namyalo omukyala oyo naye mulwanirizi w'eddembe abaddewo nnyo. Njagala okwebaza abakyala mubaddewo nnyo nga tutwala struggle eno mu maaso era mukyaliwo kubanga tetunnaba kumala kimwatandika tekinaba kuggwa. Naye mpaawo omukyala oyo Patricia nnyo butusanyusa okulaba abuze kubatuuliza era abeeyanjulire. Engineer Patricia Wali.
Hello, yes, I am.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. I'm Patricia Namyalo, based in Washington, D.C. I like to say Washington, D.C. because that's what everyone knows. So I'm actually based in Virginia, but Washington, D.C., Virginia, Maryland are so close to one another. We call it the DMV community. So I'm basically 10 minutes away from Washington, D.C. And I work in Washington, D.C. as a human rights defender, work as activist, and then, of course, I also dabble as a human rights activist for Uganda, working on the People Power platform, and I'm definitely happy to be here.
Sanse nnyo kulaba omukyalo yabaddewo nnyo era aliwo nnyo for the struggle. Mama Aisha ze. tanaba kujja kale
Comrade Aisha na kwali na ye I don't know. You cannot actually, I can't even hear her too.
Engineer waffe Aisha tonnaba kumufuna akyaganya okujja. Engineer waffe Aisha tonnaba kumufuna. Should we send her another link kiki nga tayingirako? Salon. Tuwagala kulaba ogenda kumpa Patricia tulabe the role of women in the struggle. Bamaama tumanye nti tumutadde nnyo ebiseera byammwe amaanyi gammwe, those are women advocates mulwaniridde eggwanga lyammwe, naye ekintu tusindika ekintu ekinene kikyagaanye. Kati what mukama waffe juzi yatugambye nti bannange tukoze bwe tukoze naye kati ekisigadde kiri mu mikono gyammwe ng'abantu. Agamba omusango ngujje mu kooti ngulese mu kooti y'abantu. What does this mean? Ngaffe abakyala awo kitukakatako kukola ki era ki kye tulaba ekigenda mu maaso? Patricia, take it from there.
If I believe that women are mothers of creation, and we have a very big role in our society, but our role in society actually starts in our homes with our children and our immediate family members. The problem that we see in Uganda stems from like really the ungodly standards that are going on worldwide. And especially in Uganda, you see a priest praying in that on a very dirty road with like sewage. And he's there, and on the other end, he's collecting money. He's telling the followers to give him everything. And then he goes and he's building a big house. You understand? So everything that's happening in Uganda, it stems from the ungodly standards that we are living today. And where we choose to worship and where we choose to put our money, meaning our resources and our time. You see so many people go to church on a daily basis, but after church, they come home and they completely forget everything that they have learned. And even the people that are teaching them, they just say a lot of things, but they're not even using the Bible. So as women, as mothers of creation, we really need to focus a lot of attention on the way we are training our children, because these children, they grow up to become leaders in society. So when you see Kadaga had a mother, you know what I mean? But the question, I don't blame the mother. I don't know who the mother is, but the question is, what was her upbringing? You know, and then you see her in her position. How did she raise the people around her? You know, actions speak louder than words. So as women, even in this struggle, we have put so much time and energy into the movement, but some of us, or maybe the majority of us, are slowly starting to realize that we are actually abandoning our children to do what we're doing. And as we are fixing one problem, we are creating another problem. So all these people in politics today, they have someone that raised them. They have family members that care about them. And I believe this is what we have missed in this movement. We, in a sense, have failed to organize ourselves to see where all the power lies. You know, there's so many different stems of power, and you have to look at the people within the NRM, and we need them too. And then you look at people within FDC, people within ANT, and then you look at business owners. You look at the people on the bottom in the Butale. And until we realize how we can help the woman at Akatale, I don't know what do they call it in English, at the supermarket or the open...
at the market, yeah.
Exactly. Until we can figure out how to help these women and what role they play in society, they're not going to work alongside us. They're looking on and they're supporting you, but they're not realizing that they play a role in bringing about change in Uganda, right? So as we have coordinators, as we have leaders, UNA Vice President, Lydia Nantolo, the Speaker, Afande Momo, we now need to create leaders in all these different areas in Uganda. So we look at members of parliament right now. You look at the councillors. You look at the mayors. They have a very big role to play. Now we have to extend our movement outward and reach the the women in the supermarkets, give them positions. And what will be their role? Uganda is so dirty, but as we prepare them to clean their communities and to clean their supermarkets, we're also mobilizing them to fight against injustice. As we reach out to someone that's good and positive within the NRM to work alongside us and change their hearts. Sometimes you have to get to him. Sometimes you have to, it's women like you and I that are going to have to befriend their mother, their sister. And sometimes you have to go through that avenue as women in order to get to that gentleman or that lady within the government that's voting Museveni's way. To, if we can change the mother's heart, if we can talk to the mother and talk to her about fighting alongside us, it's very possible that we can also change his heart. So I believe much as we mobilize people to vote for Bobby Wine, which was, we missed something. So as we were mobilizing to do that, we were also supposed to be mobilizing for the protests that would follow after that. So you kill two birds with one stone.
With one stone, yeah.
But guess what? That time is past. So now the question is, how do we better organize ourselves? Like one of the gentlemen told me actually on my page, and he's like, hey, Patricia, this is the problem. A lot is being said at Magere or at Kamocha. But the problem is this information is not getting down to the man on the bottom. You know, is it getting down to the lady at the supermarket? Is it getting down to the people in Butambala, right? So, and if so, how do we get it to these different individuals? You know, and then it's like, okay, he talked to him and he said, well, how about the protest? Why are you not protesting? And he said, but Bobby Wine told us not to ban tires. So you see what the problem is. The problem here is we've told them we need to lead a nonviolent movement, but we told them what nonviolence means. They don't understand what protest means. When they think protest, they think ban tires.
Buying tires.
So we have to educate. Now is time to activate through education. Or platforms like this where we're teaching what is a protest. What does it mean when we talk about nonviolent action? You understand? So we can tell people, go protest. But you're telling them, go protest. Protest where? That's the question.
Yeah.
So, okay, go protest at the government buildings. But I don't have a government building in Butambala. So does that mean that you don't need me? You see that? So there's something missing. And there's, you know, where you have a lady, I'm pretty sure you know. No, I don't want to get involved in that. It's dangerous. But guess what? Now we have to find a role for her. Maybe her role is to teach Bible study. Maybe that is her role. We have to change people's hearts. If we do what God wants us to do, if we have respect for one another, if we learn to forgive one another and move on. You know, there's so many problems within the different parties. NUP, FDC, ANT, but we're going to continue the same cycle if we do not learn to forgive. Jesus teaches us to forgive. God teaches us to forgive. We have to forgive. You don't forget, but you forgive and you move on, because guess what? There's 45 million Ugandans, and they are depending on the actions of you and I in order for them to be free. They don't know what the issues within FDC and ANT are, and they don't even care. They just want to be free.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Patricia. As we go along, now this is the your role to see that we liberate our country. We really need change. Change in Uganda. Business can't be, we just can't go on like business as usual. Museveni after 40 years omusajja akaddiye akunkumuse yenna takyalina kyatugamba kirimu makulu, ye yennyini takyerowooleza. Kakati ayinza otya okulowooleza ffe famire yennyini takyayinza kugirowooleza, nawe ogiraba eri in disarray. Ono mukyala akola kino, kati Janet akola kiri. It's unfortunate we have a mother wetwandiise maama w'eggwanga nga Janet Kataha. Omukyala nakazadde w'eggwanga, if at all she has children, ateekwa okuba alina grandchildren and maybe great grandchildren at her age ne position mwali, naye n'alaba abaana abato bazzukulu be nga batulugunyizibwa abatalina musango, nga battibwa abatalina musango, omusaayi gw'eggwanga guyika. When we have a mother in the so-called mother in the house, yandibadde maama w'eggwanga, yandibadde avayo n'agamba bannange, no, enough is enough, my husband, I think we've had it all. After 40 years tunaawummulako ddi tugende naffe tuzanye ne bazzukulu baffe. These people batulaze nti batukooye. I like the woman Kyambadde. She realized nti abantu bakooye, omuntu atuuka n'akoowa. I think people are tired of our regime. They are tired of the way things are moving. Ebyekulula nga tebigenda maaso. When will Janet Kataha realize that the Ugandans are so tired of their regime, they're tired of the bloodshed, kuba bajja mu kuyiwa musaayi, they are tired of the education system etabayamba. Katwalabye ejjo ng'agamba abaana aba nursery teri kuddayo kusoma. So women are gonna keep the kids until P1, maybe that is 5 or 6 years nga batudde waka. What is the agenda behind that? What's the agenda of changing the education system right now when we have been having that instead of improving it? Atogizabuza mabega already tuzifulumya abaana ebikonwa abagraduating nga tebamanyi na kuwandiika. They can't even construct a sentence or maybe practice what they have graduated into. Naye atoyongera kubasalako myaka. Then where is Uganda going? And these are the women we have in our country in the leadership. Women like Kadaga. I saw Kadaga the other time nga atudde ku TV nga bamubuuza wagamba, yayimira n'agamba nti if it wasn't me, senga Sally Speaker Museveni wouldn't be president now. Yandibadde asiba bikunta bye ng'agenda lwakiro. And she's so proud of that. Ne bamubuuza, are you proud of it? Mutubireke tukyerabire, let's move on. Kyokka moving on, ayagala the same position to retain her speakership. Really, is that fair to an ordinary woman like you and me? And my mother in Kasokoso and my sister in Kotido, nga wayimirira n'ogamba tukyusemi ebisanja ku myaka ne bivaawo. In your term ng'otudde gwe speaker oli mukyala tukyuse ekomo ku myaka, the man is 80 naye kyayimiridde nti yakyasinga, and you're proud of that. Patricia, what do you say about that? The reaction of that woman Kadaga, and right now she's fighting for speakership. And our people, bali erimbu tugenda kuwagira Kadaga. What are we supposed to do?
And you know, you have to realize that there's some things people say without meaning to say them. That you never hide your true colors. You know what I mean? No matter how hard you try to hide, eventually your true self is going to come out. But earlier on, you talked about, you know, Kadaga and Janet Museveni and her family. She has grandchildren, children. And let me tell you something. They don't even love them. That's the problem. They think they love them, but they don't. And the reason why I say they don't love them is because we all know love is not just what you feel for someone, but what you're willing to do for them.
Yes.
The question is, they think they love them because they feel something for them, you know? But the question is, are you willing to step away, to stop dishonoring them, to stop making them look bad in front of the whole world? Imagine 10 years, 20 years later when these people are long gone and these children are walking the street and they're asking them, who's your mother? And they can't even tell you who their mother is. They can't even tell you who their mother is.
They'd be ashamed of what their mother or grandmother did to their country.
But you know what, though? It's sad because there's so many people within their families that can still do the right thing. Talking about the role of women, people like, you know, the Patience. Instead of Patience telling her father that, Dad, maybe this is time, it's done. What did she do? She created a documentary that shows the things that he had done for the country. You see that? And this is how they raised her, in a very ungodly way, in such a way that she cannot even tell wrong from right. And so at this particular moment, I'm not even so worried about these individuals because they're just long gone. It's going to take a miracle for them to change their hearts and to do the right thing.
They'll never change.
Exactly. And when they pretend to change, it's after they finally lost. They know what's right. They already know what they're doing is wrong. Later on, they'll say, oh, we were wrong. They forced us to. And it's all going to be lies because you can't be someone like Kadaga whereby you made decisions that are causing the death of so many young people, and then
You're
don't
proud of that. She said,
you're proud of
Chagwa, let's move on. Like nothing happened. Really. And
But
we're
you-
losing lives of young people. The future generation of the country is all getting perished. So it's perishing because of your decisions as the Speaker of the Parliament, and she's proud of that.
very proud. But guess what the real problem is? Now, the real problem is we already know who they are. But now the question is, do we know who we are as the opposition?
Okay.
Do we know where we're standing in terms of them and us? Because right now, as we speak, I'm not so sure the decision the president-elect is going to make in terms of speakership, but we are in a situation where some of our fellow comrades basically would rather stand with Kadaga than stand with another opposition candidate, because to them, well, we don't like them, so we're better off picking them. And personally, I don't care whether we join FDC or not join FDC, but what I would like to see is us not support people that are evil as opposition. When I say opposition, I'm talking about all Ugandans that are not in favor of the NRM regime. Opposition is not just NUP. Opposition is just anyone that does not support the regime. Let's not give any excuses as to why we should support Kadaga. You know, sometimes it's better not to participate in something.
And you go on record that you've refrained from participating into evil acts.
Exactly.
I would rather stay away. Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. Lydia, so when we see these women, our president has been telling us to come out and protest peacefully, but Ugandans are so scared of torture, of being arrested, of being beaten up. Unfortunately, whether you participate in this or you stay home, people are being picked from their homes in the middle of the night. They just break into doors and pick these young men and women from their homes sleeping. You saw a young man the house was set on fire after being injected with dangerous chemicals. Right now, we don't know if we are going to save this young man. We don't know if we can save this young man, but that's the situation. So what do you tell women when we call upon them to come out, cry for your children who are being brutalized, who are in jail for not doing anything wrong? Come out and be on the street and protest. Show the world your dissatisfaction with the regime. Lydia, what do you say about such women?
Thank you so much, Mama Dorothy Stewart, our moderator. I think Patricia touched on it, but we need to educate our people. Kusomesa abantu baffe, and I'm saying this out of a humble space. Peaceful demonstration, that's a human right.
Exactly.
Resisting something that is not right is a human right. But the way we do it is what requires. Engeri gye tukikolamu kyekikyusa kyekigenda maaso. Tetuba kugamba nti buli omu agende ku street mutandika okuba amayinja ebizimbe nedda.
No, that's what we are talking about. That's not what we are talking
about. What you're talking about is peaceful demonstration. Gandhi did that.
Yes.
India wouldn't have been what it is today. Singa omuntu omu teyayimuka n'agamba enough is enough. It took one man to change the tide of India. If the late Dr. Martin Luther King did not step up and say enough is enough. Okulaba nga abaana bange wadde baddugavu nga bagenda batula mu ssomero n'abaana abazungu. Lydia ndi wano nsobodde ogenda okutuula mu ssomero n'endifuga n'oddifuga as the student body president just because one man stood. Kati bamaama baffe abali e Uganda waliwo abamu abakoze emirimu, waliwo abamu babadde ku street ne bakaaba. kye twagala okulaba bamaama ffenna, especially those in leadership roles. Bannange temutuswaza. After the elections, you forget the people who put you in power. People are watching, by the way. Because there's nobody who likes a position as a leader who is already in position. People are watching you. Our so-called celebrities in Uganda, the artists, the musicians, you're silent. Abantu babalaba, your fellow artists bali mu makomera, and you're silent. Nammwe mulina abaana. The religious leaders, spiritual leaders, we respect you a lot. Abamu ku ffe, we grew up in the church, and church is the only way we can go to find refuge.
Is the church.
But if you remain silent, your mothers, you hold those positions. Use your platforms for good. What leadership is not about you taking a title. Or bemba mwina makanisa aga manene nnyo, you have 3,000, 10,000 people who show up. Abantu who live under $1 a day, $3 a day. But they come and give you a tithe. But you cannot use your platform, your pulpit,
to fight for them.
To fight for those mothers who don't have a voice. Kubanga remember, omuntu ali mu nnaku tasobola kwerwanako. Kyekyo lwaki will continue to have these dialogues. Era abantu abasinga continue. We are going to be here. We are going to speak truth to your hearts. We are going to speak what is right, what is just, what is fair. Women in the diaspora, mothers in the diaspora who are silent. The world is watching. Most so God is watching your hearts. Muli bamama. Namwe mulina abaana. Well, you might think you're in America, you're in the you're in Canada, you're in UK. You're safe.
They have brothers and cousins and nieces and
not safe.
You know, OBs are brutalized every day.
Exactly.
Back home.
Our call to action to every woman, every daughter, every sister, every friend. Please speak up if that's all you can do. When our principal said we need to show up on the streets and have peaceful demonstrations, peaceful demonstration, resistance is a human right. But because we have
provided for in our constitution,
we have lawlessness leaders. Abantu nebagenda ku City Square and a battalion of soldiers show up. And they take them away and go in Zogamba. They have guns and they're killing people. When I was watching Mrs. Nyanzi's story yesterday, the woman narrated her story as these men showed up in her home. Of course, they came for a purpose to take Council Nyanzi. But somehow, by the grace of God, he walked away. But the way she narrated her story, men showed up with guns. Her children are in the house. Do they know the trauma?
The trauma
of kids going those children for life. Worse yet, they took a 15-year-old child, even up to date. People in power are silent about it. Those are the ones we know. What are you going to do?
So many thousands of them, hundreds, we don't know.
Continue to narrate her story, by the way. Within a span of a couple months, They've put 3 of her children in jail.
Wow.
But thank God they've come out. But what's the torture these children are going through? And one of her son was actually in Kalangala. So he's one of the many who have been out there for 3 months. And she narrated her story and you could see her pain. And she said, I don't just cry easily because of what I've gone through. It's heavy. You could see the heaviness of her heart. Why are mothers bringing their children only for their children to end up in jail or dead or tortured or abducted? This is a call to every woman. And I believe it is our time as women to take actually these leadership roles and use these positions for good.
Thank you so much. And that's the cry of the main cry of this show tonight, is to cry upon fellow women, wherever you were, do whatever you can do to rise up with your voice, with your actions, with your finances, with your prayer, with your everything. Kubanga abakyala nze ndaba ekintu kino bwe tunaakisitukiramu mu bungi n'amaanyi, we are going to move this revolution, push it forward up to the end. Kubanga abasajja babasibye. Many of them, our youths, abalina amaanyi, ababadde ku front, they are all in jail, they have been brutalized, they have been maimed, they have been killed. Now, I think it is time for women to get together and support our young men, our struggle, support our president to come up with vigor, a lot of vigor, and we need to come out mu bungi ate mu maanyi ng'abakyala. Kubanga abakyala bwe tubeera bwe twogera, we move mountains. Abakyala bwe tukwata wamu ng'ekitole, we can move mountains. We can make things happen. We can get our target. We can do a lot of things when we come together. So this is a cry upon to all the women. You women in the diaspora, abatuulira bagamba tebinkwatako. Nze ndaba nave Uganda ndi bulungi. Ndi wano baana bange bali wana, I'm a citizen of Canada, of US, of UK, whatever. I have nothing to lose in Uganda. My dear sister, you have a lot of stuff to lose in Uganda. If this man Museveni and his regime continues for the next 5 years, mumanyi diaspora kyatu planningidde. He's planning a lot of negativity towards the diaspora. Kubanga bagamba diaspora mu supporting Kyagulanyi, mu supporting struggle. Oyinza obutaddayo kusanga Kiwaleke Uganda. Oyinza okusanga byokoleredde all your life ngoloza nti I'm investing in Uganda, muguza amataka, mulina amayumba, mulina businesses, mulina emirimu. You might end up losing all of that simply because he wants to punish you. Patricia, I want you to come up with this, because recently we have just seen Museveni is making new laws upon laws upon I don't even know, passing bills, tabling bills in diaspora in the parliament concerning the diaspora. Why is he so concerned about the diaspora? We are just the Ugandans. Why? We don't even want his tetwetaaga ye tukwega tumulinaako buzibu. He has been a president for 40 years. I count 40 kubanga yamala emyaka 5 mu nsiko ngatta abantu baffe. Era ye yali afuga Uganda, yavanga eri najja natta abali otalina musango, najja n'agamba nti government yeebase. Those 5 years in the bush plus this is 35, 40 years akyatubanja ki. Now what is this? Patricia, njagala onteeke mu mateeka kubanga mumanyi amateeka. Kino kyonna omukyala ali mu diaspora bw'asigala ng'azinze emikono, Museveni n'asigala ng'agenda mu maaso n'emyaka gye gyonna ne kyayagala nti bw'anaata entebe n'omutabani akwate. After all, Muhoozi is not even a Ugandan, but that's what he wants. What does this mean to you women in the diaspora? Ku bulamu bwammwe, ku bintu byammwe, ku your citizenship as Ugandans, to your future and the future of our kids. What are we looking at, Patricia? Patricia Vudeko?
Yeah. The most important thing that we need to think about as women living in the diaspora and just Ugandan women, no matter where it is that they are. You will never be born in any other country other than Uganda. That is where you were born. You don't get to, choose again. Oh, but I'm an American citizen. So does that mean that you're born here? There's a reason why your passport says you are of Ugandan origin, and this is something a lot of people don't even understand and comprehend. Omuzungu si musiru. There's a reason why omuzungu ateka ku passport yonti origin yo is Uganda.
Yeah.
In terms of an emergency and you're outside of the country, they're going to repatriate people back to this country in classes. So of Ugandan origin, you're probably going to be the last people to be taken out of that country, depending on if there's whites involved. I mean, there's racism here in the United States.
Yes.
So what do you think? Like, do you think in that situation there's going to be anything different? No. So we as Ugandans and as Black people worldwide, we complain about the treatment that we get from whites and different other races that look at us as being below them. But we don't understand that we don't even have to be here, And one thing that really proves that you'll never be born in any other country other than Uganda is because many times we see our fellow comrades get sick and they die. And guess what? They pick Ugandans back home and Ugandans here, including people that don't know you, have to raise money to send you back home in a casket to be buried. And so common sense says, live where you'll be buried. We have no use in this country. We really don't. This country is doing well. They don't so much need our resources, but Uganda needs our resources.
Yes.
As a human rights activist and labor defender, there's so much I'm doing for this country. But guess what? I know that these resources are better needed in Uganda. And in terms of the wake-up call from Museveni knew long ago that we were so powerful as a diaspora, as women in the diaspora. He knew that. He knew that soon as we go back home and we bring back these resources, and we bring back the knowledge that we have, we start educating people, his time will be done. He knew that very long ago. And let me tell you why he knew that. It's because of how he has kept Uganda. He's kept Uganda as a third world country for a reason. Tanzania. Tanzania is doing well. I visited Rwanda sometime in 2005, and I was surprised. I had never seen an African country so clean. I was like,
exactly.
I was like, how are they able to be this clean? And it's like, hey, you get kiboko if you throw something on the floor. And guess what? I agree with that.
Yeah.
It should be like that. But he knows exactly what he's doing. And he's doing that. He's keeping Uganda just as it is for a reason. He's make it less desirable for you and I, the woman living in the diaspora, for us to want to go back. He's giving us excuses to say, oh, we can't go back there. The bathrooms are bad. And the schools. He gives us a lot of things. The hospitals. He's doing this on purpose. They're flying their kids out, but they're making the country look so less desirable for the rest of us. And the rich, they're doing great. Why do you think members of parliament and people within the government get transportation and all sorts of different things on top of their salary? Because he knows once you keep a politician happy, then as long as he's content, he's not going to be worried about anyone else.
Oh my God, yeah.
They have the good roads in their neighborhoods, in the same neighborhoods together. I mean, you see a politician and he has built 10 homes for all his children and grandchildren. Say that. So what does that person need? He can travel out of the country using government funds. To go, he comes here for a meeting, he dozes into the whole meeting, and soon as he lives there, he goes shopping.
Comrade Namyalo, when you talk about that, so that shows us the kind of leaders we have in our country.
They don't care about the common man.
they live in gated communities, in fenced homes, and they have these big cars, which is taxpayers' money. They drive by somebody who gave them a vote, who's literally selling maize, people living in trenches, people literally living with sewage running by their homes.
Yeah, with no bathrooms and no toilets, no running water, no electricity, but they don't care. As long as they're eating, they're comfortable, so
no, but then
they don't want to change.
This is when we need to tap into the hearts of our people. 45 million, you're so many. To just have one leader come in and rule you and take your money and you still put them in office. Then we need to change this dialogue. We need to empower our people. Sorry, Comrade Damiano, complete. I wanted you may touch on that too.
No, by all means, I completely understand. But, just to go back on that subject, it's like he has made the country so undesirable for you. Like, he's given us so many excuses. I was talking to my brother, and I'm like, but why didn't you just tell me to come back home like 10 years ago? Like, in my head, I knew I wanted to go back home, didn't know how. I felt that I had to be here. And then all of a sudden now I'm really realizing that much as I have gone back home, I've rebuilt an orphanage home. I've worked with orphanage kids. I could have done more had I really been on the ground, right? But then, of course, in my head, I'm not going to be safe in Uganda. So you see, back then we thought that we were not going to be safe. Yeah. And then now look at us. Are we safe? Any safer than we were now? No. But what if we had moved back 10 years ago? Imagine the things we could have changed. I used to go to ShopRite and they knew me. As soon as I walked in, they literally would get one of the guards to literally follow me around because to them I was a troublemaker. You know what I mean? I would go in, you're sitting around, you're waiting for bread, and they're just sitting there, everyone's just staring at you. They're having a conversation as you're waiting to buy something from them. And of course, I'm going to
business to them.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, I didn't come here to hang out. I came here to buy something, and you as a person that's working there. And my cousin's like, no, you need to calm down. This is how things are. You see?
Uganda, when are we going to get to this level? If we keep saying, oh, Uganda, this is the way we do things. We don't want to change.
Us to go back home and change. We look down at that little situation with ShopRite, them having someone following me because I got crazy with the manager, and I literally put my arms there. I'm like, if you're going to arrest me, arrest me. They had strollers all over the place. The stroller, my cat hit the stroller hit the baby foot. And the guard is telling me, you're going to pick it up and you're going to pay for it. I'm like, absolutely not. Just because you're disorganized, I don't get to pay for that. You understand? But anyways, let's not overlook these little things. They seem so small, but if we can change the markets, if we can reach out to the woman as the market and talk to her about their role in society and bring her in. There's a scripture I want to quote here, and it's Colossians 3:14. It says, clothe yourselves with love, for it is a perfect bond of union. It's going to start with us loving one another. There's nothing we can change if we don't even know what love is. Once we clothe ourselves with love, because that is the perfect bond of union, then it's easy to go out to these markets and teach these women the importance. It's easy to come to the diaspora and talk to our fellow comrades and our fellow women here in the diaspora about the importance of us coming together and doing things together. So you talked about how can we give back to Uganda.
Yes.
I wrote a speech there at the very beginning of this movement, and it was Freedom for Generation Yet Born. And I gave the speech. It was an online speech. And I knew that after I gave that speech, my life would never be the same again. And it hasn't been the same. I've faced so many threats from the NRM. They've done so many vile things to me, and not just to me, to both myself and my daughter, who's 8 years old. But I knew I had to do this. I had to sacrifice something for Ugandans to get something. But I struggled with a title for the speech. And finally, I called it Freedom for Generation Yet Born. What does that mean? You have to ask yourself, what are you fighting for? And this is one of the problems that we are facing as to why we can't get people to come, because some of them are like, well, I don't want to fight for Bobi Wine. But the question is, we're not fighting for Bobi Wine, we're fighting for Uganda, right? Yes. And, I don't want to fight for NUP, but we're not fighting for NUP. This is just a group.
Fighting for our country.
That organized to fight for Uganda, right? And so what are we fighting for? The truth of the matter is we are truly fighting for freedom for generation yet born. We're fighting for the children yet unborn. We're fighting for our children that are alive. You look at Nsereko Kiwanuka. His son was kidnapped. You think he did not know? And up to this moment, we don't know where he is. You think he did not know that would happen, something like that would happen? His daughter is also part of the movement. The aunt is also part of the movement, Namboze. You understand what I mean? They knew this would possibly happen, but they sacrificed. They're willing to die for the future generation of Uganda. Martin Luther was willing to die for the future generation of all Black people worldwide, especially here in the United States. So once we understand exactly what we are fighting for, you don't want to fight for one man. You don't want to fight for a party. You want to fight for something bigger and grander than that. And that's why Martin Luther King knew he would die. He was willing to die because he knew. He gave that speech at the memorial here in Washington, D.C., about having, about the mountaintop. I've been to the mountaintop. And he took Black people to that mountaintop. And let me tell you something. There's no one person, I believe, that left that place not a changed man. It changed people for the rest of their lives.
Yes.
And that's what we need to do as women. Let's take women to this mountaintop, because at the mountaintop, when we women in the diaspora come together and clothe ourselves with love, being that it's the perfect bond of union, love one another, help one another, because we're also dealing with issues here. Yes. So we got to come together, love one another, help one another. And guess what? Then we can now come up with a women movement. The diaspora needs a women's movement. Without a woman leader in the diaspora, forget about having a strong woman movement for Uganda. Uganda needs a very strong woman leader at the top to mobilize the women. And that leader at the top, given that love is the perfect bond of union, needs to be loving enough to share that power. We're not here just for positions. We're here to really create leaders. Leaders. You have to lead in a sense that you want to have 100 more leaders.
Yes. Exactly.
If you don't have people that can do what you do and even do it better than you're doing it, forget it. We are missing something in this regard. So let's get into these positions as a way to empower one another and to create more leaders.
Yeah.
I have said to myself, I don't want a position, and I don't want a position because I can give myself one. My position is to educate, use the scriptures to change people's hearts, right? But we need to create short-term goals and we need to create long-term goals.
Yeah.
And then we need, as we're bringing these women here in the diaspora together, it should not just be about fighting for Uganda. We need to be interested in what's going on with you. What problems are you facing in your life? Maybe she doesn't have a place to stay. So she's homeless, but you want her to fight for Uganda. You want her to...
when she has issues herself.
Exactly. So once we come together, and this is something we really can do, we can plan a meeting every Friday, every Sunday, where we are all coming together and just talking about some of our issues. Ask a question. What are the difficulties? Why are you not able to help out with what's taking place in Uganda? And once we find those issues, we find solutions to those issues. And then we are able to bring this person in to work alongside us, right? But again, we're going to take the diaspora having a woman leader, Uganda having a woman leader, and then now we have to figure out what is the role of the diaspora, the women in the diaspora.
Yes.
Once we have a leader, and once we figure out the role really should be educating. You know, we are mainly here to educate and support the people back home, right?
Yeah.
And then now we have the woman leader in Uganda. So what is the role of the women in Uganda? The role is also to educate. They get the things that they learn from us, and they educate them to the people in the markets, the park,
Starting
in the
from their families. Yeah.
families, and then now their biggest role is implementation. Now they have to implement what we are educating, because you can go and you can educate, but if you're not implementing, for example, we face climate change in Uganda, pollution. Pollution is just as simple as having a day a week where all the members of parliament within NUP, the councillors, the mayors, all come together and they pick 20 different markets, and they say, you are assigned to that market, you're assigned to that market, and they go sweep and clean and pick up plastic bottles, right?
Yeah.
And we recycle those, but as we're recycling, we're also educating the people there. If you see someone throw something in your market, say something. Don't allow them to. This is not a trash can. This is a business. How clean your market is determines how much money you're going to get long term, right?
Yeah.
If we have a day once a week, again, members of parliament, councillors, mayors, whereby they create a day, they pick 20 places, and it's a matter of let's plant trees. Plant a tree in your backyard, take a picture planting that tree, take a video, whatever it is. Now we are helping with pollution. So that's another thing.
Yeah.
People are looking at us and they're asking, the environment, people are looking at us and asking, well, you have promised us all these things, but where are the actions? So as we are removing Museveni, we can use these ideas to mobilize people, to mobilize.
To see how it will look like Monsensu Vize when we get change eventually.
Yes. Yes. So once people see this, they're really going to see that, wow, I want to belong to this group of people. I want to work with this group of people.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Batulaba Banange. You can, do we have a phone? Our engineer, can someone call in? Take a dosing. Yeah, sobola okutukubira ku ssimu saawa eno, sobola okuba ku ssimu naawe no participating. The role of women in the struggle. Banange, struggle continues. Twagala change in our country. We need change. Whether we, famous saying, whether with what or ballot, whether with ballot or bullet, we need change. Ballot gave us the change we needed. Kubanga twawangula. We know nti our president-elect is Honorable Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. Ye yawangula with over 54% of the actual vote. Museveni n'akwebera with less than 30% of the vote. Naye olw'okubeera n'akozesa emmundu n'obukujjukujju n'abasajja be ba electoral commission byabakama byaba whatever the name is, lutabahuula n'asigala nga yeddiza obuwanguzi bwaffe. But we need to fight for our victory. We need to fight for change, the change we so much desire, for the betterment of our country, for the betterment of our future, the betterment of our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Amabanja agewoleddwa ensi yaffe, our country bagitunze eweddewo. Now Uganda is going to be, if we don't get Museveni out of the country, Uganda is going to become China very soon. Just like is it Zambia, Mozambique, and these other West African countries. Abachina gye bazze ne batwala ebintu bya gavumenti byonna simply because bagenda ne bakuwa buno obusente bye bamanyi nti bazikuwa so much nga ate bamanyi nti our leaders are corrupt. Bwe balaba ku ssente balinga embwa erabye omukalo, balina okuzitwala ne bazibba bubbi ne bewola in the name of the country. Naye nga gwe nange n'omwana wo n'omuzukulu wo n'omuzukulu w'omuzukulu yagenda okusasula ssente ezo. Otherwise, Uganda is going to the foreigners. Egenda kugenda kubeera foreigners in our own country if we don't stop Museveni. Wano wetuviiriddeyo ng'abakyala bakulembeze nga tukubira abakyala mmwe ali eyo gwandaba n'ampuliriza naawe osobola okwongerayo ebigambo bino eri mukyala munno ogambe nti kino ffenna tukwatire wamu. We need to come together and work together for this change we so desperately need okusevinga ensi yaffe, okusigala nga tuli bannayuganda n'okusigala nga ensi ggwanga Uganda likyaliwo. Tulabye amataka gonna ettaka lyaffe lyonna bwe litambudde bwe ligenze. Gwe omukyala ali eno mu diaspora okoze nnyo, you are hard and cash, n'ogenda n'ogula ettaka n'okuteekayo property Uganda n'ogamba oh this is my retirement, when I retire here I need to go home, I'll be okay because I've worked all my youth, I've saved all my money. Twerumya eno tuli mu nsi naye twerumya ne tusavingira eka, but ku Museveni amateeka g'ataddewo because he hates the diaspora so much tiagenda kuteekawo obukwakulizo bwonna okulaba nti tetuddayo, ne bwe tuddayo we don't own anything. Tokyali munnayuganda, you don't belong there anymore because mutaddewo to support the revolution eno eteekwa okumutwala. So in order to retain what is rightly ours, to be collated, our property to be guze, to work for we have worked for our retirement, we need to claim our retirement which I have invested back home. Okusobola okukituukirizaako ekyo, we need to force Museveni out of our country and all his entire group. Tulina okulaba nti omusajja afuluma okusobola okugenda because one thing is a foreigner himself. Yenyini is a foreigner in our country. Yajja buzi ng'agoba luwaya, he comes hopping on his mother's back wherever he came from, nawangama mu ntebe y'eggwanga lyaffe n'agiremeramu. But it's forcing you real indigenous Ugandans out of their own homeland. Lydia, what do you have to say about this? Mukoze nnyo, mutegese ebintu byammwe. But if you leave this woman in, tulina mukyala Nakijoba atuuse. Who is that?
I actually see her name. I've been seeing her name. Mama Nakijoba, can you hear us?
Njagala gye ku nsonga eno kubeera nti tukoleredde wano tugenda kugamba nti I invested for my retirement, I want to go home because nga Patricia bwe yagambye wadde tuli wano naye tetuli ba wano. At some point ne passport yegamba yes you are an American citizen but you are indigenous country is Uganda. So ne bwe tufaana bulijjo tugaba nange tuzaayo ku butaka tumuzaayo ku butaka, so eventually we shall be repatriated home and we have tried to save and create our saving for retirement back home, but Museveni doesn't want us there. Ataddewo obukwakulizo ku guno omulundi gwagenda if he swears in for the presidency of Uganda, he's going to punish the diaspora because of supporting Honorable Bobi Wine Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. What do we do? What's the role of you women in the diaspora to stop this? We need to come together. We need to protest. We need to encourage our people back home to join, to participate in the peaceful protests. Lwaki tetukola abakyala baveeyo abakyala kubanga ffe tuzaala be balina abaana abatulugunyizibwa, be balina abaana mu makomera, be balina abaami ababavuddeko, bali ewaka nga ne rent tebakyalina, tebakyasobola kufeedinga babies be balina. Lwaki abakyala tebavaayo n'ebipande by'ababba baabwe n'abaana baabwe? Like if we can get 5,000 or 10,000 women on the street for a week nga batuddeawo bakaaba bukaabi, nobody has wadde akambe wadde ejjinja wadde kinga balina bipande by'abaana demanding their husband, demanding their children, demanding their grandchildren, kubanga omwana omu omusibe ekitalya has a mother, alina bannyina bonna bakazi, alina basenga nga 6-8 bonna bakazi, alina bajjajja bonna bakyala, alina omukyala, alina abaana abawala. One person omusibe Luzira alina ba relatives abakazi nga abasukka 20. If we can have 500 basibe, buli muntu n'aleeta abantu 20, and these women sit on the street for 1 week demanding their children, can't we cause change? Can't we cause? Tulabe Museveni bw'anaakwata amagye n'emmundu akwata abakyala bano nga balina obwana bwabwe obuwala obuvudde mu masomero obutasoma obutalina byakulya nga batudde awo ku luguudo nga bakaaba n'ebipande by'abaana baabwe bannyinaabwe bazzukulu baabwe. These men have basengazi bannyinaabwe bamaama baabwe bajjajja. If we can mobilize all these women for a peaceful protest demanding for their children, why can't we do that? How can Museveni survive this? Aisha?
Well,
What do you say, Patricia? What do you say about this? Why can't we organize? Mukama waffe yatugamba the ball is in the hands of the people, the common people. Mwe muyina obuyinza buli mu bantu, omusango ngulese mumwe. Before we think about the bigger picture of the future, we need it now, because you and me, Patricia, we know if Museveni stays in this country, tojja kusobola kudda Uganda. Nebyolinayo byokozeeyo tojja bisanga, because he wants to punish you as the diaspora kubanga mwawagidde Kyagulanyi. Now we need to take it upon ourselves okulaba ntulwanirira obuwanguzi bwaffe. After all, twawangula. We know that. So we need to fight for this. We need to end the Museveni regime. Now, he's a foreigner in our own country, but he wants to make us foreigners in our own country. What do you say about this?
Ati, if we look back at the I think it was about three, maybe 3.5 years ago. I'll say 3 years ago. Here in Washington, D.C., I work very close to Capitol Hill, so I'm able to see a lot of the protests that take place there. They had a Women's Day protest against, I think it was Donald Trump. And all the women, as usual, they come to Washington, D.C. And once they come to D.C., it's always something that they have already prepared ahead of time. We're going to focus on A, B, C, D, and E. And I remember the one thing the women kept saying was Donald Trump, 2021, I think 2020 is coming. They kept reminding him 2020 is coming. Why? Because they were telling him, we are going to vote you out in 2020. And they voted him out. But it took a lot of organization. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't just people that are just there for because they were women. No, some of them came with their daughters. It's just daughter and mother, we're going to go fight for our country. And they came from Missouri. Some of these women came from other countries because they belong to the United States. They live in the United States. That's their origin country. And they flew from the countries they went to, Canada, and they said, no, I will not have Donald Trump be the leader in my country. And for that reason, knowing that my daughter will probably grow up someday and go back to her roots, I'm going to go back with my daughter and teach her how to activate and how to fight for our country. I attend every protest that I normally go to with my daughter as long as she's not in school. Why? Because I need to teach her that whatever rights you want in life, you're going to have to fight for them, right? But there were organizations at this protest that the churches, women's organizations that stem from just about anything, from economy to God and all sorts of different things. And that's why I say, let's share the power with as many women as we possibly can. Let's put them on the top and tell them, here you are going to be the leader. Let's train them. And let's also train them to train other people. And I promise you, when we do that, and as these women start belonging to these small groups, and then the leaders come together with the leaders to discuss what they can take back. Like every week, as women in the diaspora, we should have something we're working on. Where our focus is this. But remember, this focus is leading to the grander plan of removing Museveni. And we still have time. If we want him out in May, we can get him out in May. But the thing is, it's going to take power sharing, and it's going to take a lot of organization, and it's going to take a lot of activism, and it's going to take a lot of educating. You know, once we can do that, I'm telling you guys, you don't just get to tell someone go protest and they go. No, you have organization. Why should I go protest? That's the question. Why should I go and possibly die while I'm there? Once we teach them why, they will go. Women have to understand that your child is going to have to coexist with this dictatorship even after you're dead. Like, can you imagine the worry of a mother in Uganda leaving a child under Museveni's regime?
I know.
You know, but you have the chance right now to change that. That's what we need to talk to those women about. They can change it now. And you don't change it by being a cheerleader. You change it by coming out on the forefront and fighting
and taking action yourself. Yes.
You understand? So that's what I have to say about that. Please, Lydia, go ahead.
Thank you so much. Lydia, what talk about this. Women to encourage fellow women. How do we do this? We need Museveni out of our country as soon as we can. We can't afford another 5 years. Otherwise, you women in the diaspora, as I said, he's coming after the diaspora.
Yep. He's already coming after us. For some of you who know my story, you already know what just happened a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
And some of us are not going to be fearful anymore. We chose this journey for a purpose, and no matter what they do. But the sad reality, they're hurting and damaging people's livelihoods. What can I leave for the women today? And I want to also make an addition. I've been watching what's happening on Facebook. We have actually a lot of our brothers watching us, the men in the diaspora, the men in Uganda. This is a dialogue not for only women. And whatever we're sharing, we're not only telling the women, but rather it's a voice as women stepping up in the diaspora to empower other women at the same time to be a voice for our nation. What is happening in Uganda, definitely, we are preaching to the choir right now. Whoever is watching knows, and that's why. But I'm just going to speak about 3 major things we can do. One.
In the meantime, before you go on, our viewers, you can now call in if you need to. Our number is, did you display the number? 781-521-3569. 781-521-3569. You can call in and join the conversation as we're winding up. Go ahead, Lydia.
And thank you so much. Mama Dorothy, I want you to also talk about our care support team and the work we're doing in Uganda, so that you never know, they might be a generous person right now listening to us, and they can be of support, especially since you are the champion of that. Yeah, I wanted to say that I want to close out with 3 major things we can do. 1 on a personal level, 2nd on a community level, and then 3rd on I could say state or country or federal level. Why do I say personal level? I love how Comrade Patricia was talking about it starts with you, and it starts with love. The Bible tells us that God told us to love him and love our neighbor as we love ourselves. But the world has literally messed us up. That by the way, we are only loving ourselves and ourselves. We've forgotten to love our neighbor. We've forgotten to actually even love God. We've changed we've changed the cycle of what love is. So, we need also as women to change the mindset, because of course we are raised to be humble women. We are raised to be wives. We are raised that mindset of our culture. And I'm not saying that every woman should not just go on the streets and be loud. No. But because we believe a woman was not supposed to be in office or be on the microphone, it had to be the man.
Yes.
We need to change the mindset, especially what Comrade Patricia said. We are here fighting for our next generation, the next team of young girls, the next team of women coming after us. We need to tell them it's okay to speak up. We don't have to be vulgar.
Yeah.
Hold a position.
Calling. Hold on, Lydia. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, you're live and clear on air. Go ahead.
This is Henry Masende.
Yes.
How are you? Thank you, people. Thank you, women. Thank you, our ladies, for representing. Thank you, Dorothy Stewart. You are doing a good job.
Thank you for watching.
I want to commend you on the work you're doing in Boston.
Thank you.
As our leader here, but also I know Comrade Lydia was starting to talk about the work you're doing in Uganda. We really commend you on the good job, the selfless job that you're doing at home. Mukama Akudizeo, may the Lord reward you.
Amen.
Lydia, thank you for representing in UNA in California, and I think this is my first time to listen to the lady from Washington DC. She's so articulate. We need more women like you to stand up and speak.
Yeah.
I feel like when the women speak, they're speaking from a different corner as a mother, a different corner as I remember when Britain had a woman leader, and the Americans were hoping for Hillary Clinton, and Germany had Angela Merkel. There was an expectancy of women ruling, because when you guys rule, we know that you are no nonsense. Women are known to be no nonsense, and you are generous, and you are mothers, of course. So there is something different that happens when women rise up. There is something that happens when women speak up. So we applaud you, the women who are standing in this struggle. We applaud you, the women who are standing for human rights in Uganda. But we are calling upon more women in the world. We are calling upon more women in the diaspora to stand up and speak against the junta, against the dictator who recently called himself Sabarwani, against innocent Ugandans who are not even picking up a stone. But he's calling himself a patriot because he's killing and crushing the opposition.
Yeah.
So we are calling upon more women to stand up and speak, because definitely a woman's tear, even God, will listen and hear when a woman cries. I just want to applaud you.
Thank you so much.
Ladies, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's our caller. Lydia, go on. Our number 781-521-3569. You may call in, say your name and where you're calling from, and make a brief contribution. Lydia, go ahead. You are talking about the work we are doing right now to our comrades in Uganda.
Yes. So I wanted to first talk about the three things I wanted to share, and then we'll go into the work, which is really everyone wants to need to know. Personal level. Twekolemu omulimu ng'abakyala. Tulekeraawo okwetya. Tulekeraawo okulowooza if you speak up, that's actually you're losing your value as a woman. We need more women in leadership roles, but it starts with us. That's the personal work as women. And Patricia said it so well. We are tugenda kwekulamu omulimu. If it means to have weekly seminars, let us try to start that. Community level work that we can do. That is omulimu gwe tugenda okutandika okwekulamu. Twekonge ng'abakyala. Let us bring our daughters along, our sisters along, our friends along. Let us see something we can do in the community, not just back home. Newano.
Yeah.
Then the other major thing we can do on federal level, on country level, there's a bill. There's a resolution that was written by Senator Mendez of Delaware.
Yes.
He's talking about what we are talking about now. He's talking about the unfair and the unjust election that went on in Uganda. We need every woman to be on the front line right now, calling their senators, their congressmen, their congresswomen, every day to talk about this resolution, because we want to see it on the floor. By the way, these things don't happen in a vacuum. The more Ugandans were silent about this issue, especially us in the diaspora, the worse it's going to be back home. The worse it's going to be back home. We might want our people to peacefully demonstrate back home, but if we can also fight our battle here.
Exactly.
There is a resolution a friend of Uganda wrote. He was not even born in Uganda. He's a leader here. All he needs is us to work alongside him. And what does that mean? You mothers in your homes, tell your daughters to call your senators in your different states every day. It does not even matter how many times you call them. You can call them 10 times a day. Tell them about that resolution that was signed, written by Senator Mendez of Delaware. Tell them that you want to see it on the floor of the House of Representatives and then later in Congress. Tell them what is happening in your country. There's been a lot of information going on WhatsApp pages. No one needs to train you of what's happening back home, unless it's a 10-year-old child who was born in America.
Because we know it all already. So.
We know it all. So that is where we can. Personal level, speak your hearts, really. If you see what's happening in your country is okay, move on with your life. It's okay. You're an American citizen. You're a Canadian citizen. You're a UK citizen. That's okay. Move on with your life. If you see bodies dropped on the street, in people's gardens, people's children are being tortured, nails plucked out, their teeth plucked out,
their genitals squeezed and torn apart. These young men will never be men again.
Literally. They take an entire gang of more than 100 young people in jail. And it's been 3 months. If you're Ugandan living in the diaspora, if you're a mother and you think it's okay, these things are happening because you don't support Honorable Kyagulanyi, because you're not a NUP member. This is not about NUP members. This is not about Honorable Kyagulanyi.
It's about our country.
He has run his race.
We need to take it from there. Yeah.
It's up to us now.
To own it. We need to own this struggle.
And we mothers, we women, need to be at the front line of this.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lydia. Video ayagala okubisa munamukisa ng'omuba babiri 781-521-3569. You can do that now and join the conversation. We are talking about the role of women in the struggle. Right now, njagala okubategeezaako what we are doing after the campaigns. Tekinnagwa. It's not over until it's over. After all, it is our children being brutalized and jailed and maimed and killed. But we need to come in as women, as mothers, especially you women in the diaspora, because for us we are free. Tewali agenda kukuba jinja, tewali agenda kuwamba, tewali agenda kuteeka kuninga. But our children, our brothers, our husbands, our fathers, our neighbors, our schoolmates back home, beba babona abatulugunyizibwa. So twatandika omulimu gw'okubeera ntugenda tunoonya abantu abo to see how we can help. That's one way of how we women as mothers we could come up to help the struggle. The struggle still continues. Tetunaba kumala tekinnagwa until Museveni is out of our country, out of the presidency of Uganda. Adde tetuminaako buzibu newadde wuwe lwakitula. He already saved for his retirement. Adde mu retirement ye n'ente ze ne bazzukulu be abeere bulungi. That is bw'abanga ajja kusobola okuddamu emisango egimuvunaanibwa byatoseza ku bannayuganda ebikolwa. But that's not the issue right now. The issue is we need him out so we can save our country, the bloodshed which is going on. Naye nga tulina as women leaders in the diaspora, we come together through our chapters. As I told you, I'm the team leader or chapter leader of Boston. Tulina all different chapters wherever Ugandans are. We come together as supporters of change, netukubaganya ebirowoozo, but above all we fundraise. And right now we are fundraising to take care of our brutalized comrades back home. Abatalina muyambi mumanyi amalwaliro ge Uganda, if you don't have money you can't even access newe ba glove yokwata ku kiwundu nga bakubye essasi oba bakubye omuggo. It's not there. You have to have money kuvira ddala ku Panado oba cotton yasiba ekiwundu, let alone abo bakubiddwa amasasi nga balina okulongoosebwa. So Ugandans, we call upon you mothers, fellow diaspora, fellow mothers, fellow Ugandans to come together fundraise to see that we can take care of these sick comrades. Personally, I head this team called the Diaspora Welfare Team, and we have a team on the ground egenda enonya abaana bano n'okubatuusaako mu malwaliro n'okubatuusaako obuyambi obw'engeri ezimu n'okugenda ku visiting our comrades in the prison, ate n'okwongera okulwanira eddembe ly'abantu baffe okulaba nti bava mu makomera. We can do this as diaspora, we can do this as mothers, we can make our voices heard, as long as we come together to pursue this goal. So Patricia, as we wind up, what do you want to say to the women abafiiriddeyo? First of all, njaga okwebaza bonna abazze, and we do this on a weekly basis. Women have been contributing so much money out of their own finances, out of their own bills and responsibilities. Naye bafuna obudde ne bafissaawo ne baleeta ne tulabirira abaana abo. Naye ate eriyo abagamba ebyo tebinkwatako. Naye ng'ate, as I was saying, if Museveni continues to be in our country, now wali wanakolerera obukadde bwo oba your investment is going to make it so hard for you to go back home or to claim anything. Ettaka agenda litwala, agenda kufula ntokyalina right yonna ku kintu kya Uganda, because nalumanya ne saalumanya, whether you support or not, once you're in diaspora, these bills are going to affect all of us. So that's one thing we need to fight to see that we regain our victory, we regain our country. Patricia, as we wind up, what do you say about our cause of the welfare?
It's a very good cause, and I thank you very much for coming up with something that's more of a solution instead of a problem. I think we talk so much about solutions, but we fail to implement. And so, no, we talk so much about problems, but we fail to actually implement solutions. Or we talk about solutions and we fail to implement them. You implemented where there was a problem. So we really thank you for that. I know some of these young men in the jails, these are people that I collaborated with a lot prior to them being arrested in terms of human rights, because that's actually my passion. That's where I stand in this movement. I'm actually creating a documentary about human rights right now as we speak, and Lydia Nantalo is actually going to be in it. So thank you. But it's a very, very good cause because you're creating awareness. And if you have a Facebook page, Twitter, I would love to know what that is so that I can get it out into the public as well. And so that more people know that this exists and they're able to help out. We can retweet this information. There can be a phone number on there for people to donate. We can get a film crew on the ground that can take their stories. In fact, it would be nice for me to work with you with the documentary and maybe tell 2 of the stories of some of the people you've helped, or maybe you can be in it and talk about these stories and what you do, you know what I mean, to, again, bring about that awareness. And I think this is what we need. Once we know what we are each doing, I'm creating a documentary on human rights. Nantalo, you are the spokeswoman. I know you are the vice president of UNA. Miss Dorothy, you are the coordinator in Massachusetts, which, by the way, Massachusetts has done such an amazing job, and I really thank you and your team for everything you've done. But then here you are with something else you're doing in Uganda to help these young men and women. So I really commend you on that. But now the question is, how do we all come together and bring more people together where we're working as a team? Because right now everyone is in their little corner. I heard about what you were doing long ago, but since then I really haven't heard about it. You know what I mean? And so there's so much that is going on that we're not coming together whereby we'll help highlight these issues. It would be nice for me to actually add, if there's a woman's platform in terms of social media, I like to share information. When I see someone do something good, I like to highlight it so that people can go to that person's page. There's this thing I do on my Facebook where I say, who's who? Question mark. And I say, who's Lydia Nantolo? And I'm doing that to like literally push people, have people get a little bit curious so they can go to her page and find out who is this woman, you know? So Dorothy, and I might say our coordinator, Massachusetts. I might say something really positive about Massachusetts or on there. And slowly by slowly, we start building these teams that are going to create a better tomorrow. So thank you for everything you're doing. It's needed. That's exactly what we need right now. And I believe that if more women knew about it and if Ugandans knew about it, we could actually take it so much more further. And I'm pretty sure you have a phone number to all the media houses in Uganda. If you don't, I'm more than happy to give you these phone numbers.
Oh yeah, I'll be more than happy to receive them.
I'll get them to you as soon as possible.
Thank
It
you.
would really be nice to write a story about what you're doing and send it to all these media houses. It's important that Ugandans know the role that you are playing and the role that the diaspora women are playing. This needs to be about women because, and it's so important that women stand on their own platform. The men are doing everything they're supposed to do. They really are.
Yes.
Like, guess what? We have a problem as women. Remember when one of the ladies that was a counselor died about 3-4 weeks ago?
Oh, yes.
It wasn't a big deal. We were not upset. That's crazy.
This was a young woman.
Yeah, young woman. She was just like you, Lydia, just like me. She fought so hard, sacrificed so much, knew her life was in danger. At the time her life was in danger, she probably didn't even know who to reach out to.
She probably
talk to. I've been there before where someone is coming in my home. They're taking this and they're taking that. And you don't even know who to reach out to. I tried to reach out to some people within the movement and they didn't really have much to say. It's like, oh, it happens. You see that? So what happens is that people finally realize I don't have support. And so just leave because I'm just going to kill myself for nothing. And that's very important that we come together by talking about this woman pretty much died by herself and she was buried and we forgot about her. You know, like, let's go back and look at her story. Let's retell her story. You know, she's a hero. You know, these people with these lower positions, like there's a war against counselors and no one is talking about that. Even the counselors don't realize it. Museveni has waged a war against them. And now the question is why? Have we realized why? Let me tell you why. It's not the members of parliament that put Bobby Wine in the State House. No, it's not them.
The grassroots.
It was the grassroots.
Yeah.
It was counselors. And he knows once he cuts off the diasporas, he's cut off the head of the people.
Yeah.
The head is not on top. It's actually on the bottom. You understand? So it's not these people in the middle. Like obviously we have Bobby Wine, but that's one standing on top. And then
you have the grassroots, which are the base.
Yeah, so he's definitely trying to fight him. But as he fights him, members of parliament, you look, Nyeko Derek, they arrested him. He's a threat. But guess what they did? They released him. Him and some of the other members of parliament when they went to protest. He released them. But then the councillors, once the councillors arrested James Muviru, we don't even know where he is until you say, oh, he died, and then you find out, okay, this is where he is. The majority of them are still in prison right now as we speak. You know better because you're working with them. And then, of course, we have the other people that were working alongside Bobby Wine again. These were the grassroots. I promise you, if Kampala Lukman was out here, this is a young boy. This is one of my good friends. And this is a very fearless young man. And the majority of us don't even know his power. I watched this man, and I remember 2 days before his arrest, I sent him a message and I was like, you are a troublemaker. You're a bigger problem than you think you are. And I don't even think you realize how powerful you are. His power was the fact that he's fearless. When Ashraf was shot in the head, this man was so mad. He went right in front of the police guard and he's like screaming and yelling at him, like pointing at him. And they're pointing guns at them. And here he is, so upset. And he's basically like, kill me. Kill me. I don't have a problem. Go on ahead and kill me. You think you can shoot us? Shoot us. You see that? And that's why I'm scared of him.
Yeah.
Is that we had them out here, we wouldn't be where we are right now. So just to wrap up, thank you very much for everything you're doing for these young men. They need your help and they need all of our help. It can't just be you talking about it. I don't like to disclose who I help because I feel if I disclose, then that person is so I don't disclose. Like I'm like, man, I want to tell people that they need to do this, that you're careful not to disclose too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you very much, Dorothy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Patricia Namyaro, and thank your chapter, whatever you're doing for the struggle down there in Washington, D.C. You are one of the best contributors to this cause, the welfare cause. The D.C. team is really, really doing a great job to help our comrades. Lydia, can you close up in like a minute?
Oh, yes, totally. I just want to encourage everyone who's out there watching us. Thank you, by the way, for being live with us. Thank you for being in communication with us. Someone just sent me a message that they want to call. Is the line open?
Yeah, 781-521-3569. If they could call right now and use like 30 seconds.
Can you repeat that number again, please?
781-521-3569. If they call right now and use like 30 seconds, as you wind up in 2 minutes.
Yes. So I just wanted to let one of the person who reached out to me that they wanted to call in. So you had the number. Please call if you can. But I just want to thank you so much, Comrade. I call you Mama Dorothy. Thank you so much, Comrade Patricia. We are all literally part of a tapestry of trying to create a better country for a better state, a better country for the next generation. So I just want to appreciate you. There's nothing much I can add on. You've said it all. Please, I want to encourage everyone who can give whatever you can. $5, $10. Send to the care team. We are helping most of our people who are brutalized, who are thrown on the streets, who cannot actually get the medical help they deserve. So there's a lot of work that has been done. We could have showed some images, but we did not prepare anybody with such images. Some of these images are really gruesome. You know, Mama Dorothy can talk about this young man who they shot right in the mouth. Where you've all seen those images. A very young man shot straight in the mouth. His teeth and mouth shattered. To make matters worse, they literally got his tongue and cut it. We can share the brokenness of our people. But just like I said, believe what is happening back home is okay.
And thank you so much. And for the we have, Lydia, if you took my phone, you wouldn't even be able to go home and sleep. You can't sleep, you can't eat. Where I see the gruesome pictures, the videos, oh my God, this regime is so inhuman that what they're doing to our kids, if I gave you my phone, you wouldn't even be able to go home and sleep. But I see it all, and we have it all, and these are the people we go out to help. People are maimed, people are shot. A young man is shot in the thigh. Then days later, this vampire comes with a 6-inch nail with a hammer and hammers into that very spot where the bullet went to, shattering the whole thigh, shattering his bone. So these people are our sons are literally now, they are maimed, they can't walk, they have lost limbs, they have lost everything because of one thing, practicing their human right. It's their right, to support whoever they want.
Can you share your Zelle number, your Zelle information?
If anybody out there needs to help this cause, we have our Cash App number. This number is on Zelle. It's on PayPal. It's 857-719-4451. 857-719-4451. It brings the name of People Power UG. That's our Cash App number for People Power UG, 857-719-4451. If you feel like you want to help this cause, the cause of taking care of our people who are being brutalized, our people in jail, that's the number. You can throw in anything, $5, $50, $300, $500, whatever you throw in goes a long way to help. Why we wanted a centralized system? Because we wanted to discourage this thing of sending money to one individual. This, especially our comrades, they do a good job, but putting their number out there, they raise so much money, and then for one person who doesn't even need that money need it all. So if you raise 3 million, this comrade needs 800, you give him that, and the rest you put in your pocket. But 3 million can go a long way to help a number of people to benefit from that if it is a centralized system doing all this. That's why we came up with that. Our number again is 857-719-4451. You can send in a Cash App. Just put in for welfare for our comrades back home. That money will reach and help the people who need the help so much. You have been a wonderful viewers. Thank you so much. I would like to thank our team, my team, ladies. Patricia, thank you so much for your contribution. Lydia, and I thank the organizers of the program. Every Sunday they bring a different topic and a different panel to this AITV. I thank the administration of the AITV, our engineer in the control room. Thank you so much. My name is Dorothy Stewart once again, the People Power NUP leader in Boston, Massachusetts, and the team leader of the Diaspora Welfare Team. If you want to join my team, if you have anybody brutalized you want to bring to our attention, if you have anything to say, you can always reach out to me. My number, I always say it's 781-521-3569. You can reach me on that number only if you are talking about this cause. I don't care about the threats. I don't care about whatever those who hate Ugandans, but we are here to fight for the liberation of our country, to fight for our win, to fight for change. We need a better country for the future generation. We need a better Uganda. Just like all the other countries in the 21st century, we don't belong where we are right now in this century. We can do better, and we can become better. We can have a better future. We can have a better country and a better working system for everybody without corruption, nepotism, tribalism, and all that. All that needs to go with the Museveni regime. Thank you so much. May God bless you. We meet next Sunday. Thank you so much, my panel. Thank you, our engineer. God bless.
I wanted to say that because we need to change the narrative. A lot of people think UNA leaders are not for the struggle. A lot of people think some UNA leaders do not care about what's happening back home. I have a team that's going to join us next Sunday. So I just want to let everybody know that, yes. So stay tuned.
Thank you so much. Yeah, tune in next Sunday.